No wireless mic, so hopefully this comes through. I just felt very compelled to talk about this, and might be very deep for this channel, but I think my channel is now kind of evolving into my experiences, and this one's intense. So I had a life after death experience, and I didn't end up in some emergency or something. It happened in a dream form back in 2009. And I had this dream. Some of you have heard this 1,000 times, but I'm going to try to elaborate a little bit more on this video because there's something very beautiful about this. And I think more people need to hear this. So I had a dream I was in an alley somewhere, some city. I was riding a bike, and these 3 or 4 gentlemen, younger, approached me on their bicycles, and one of them pulled out a gun and shot me 3 times in the chest. And it was so real, absolutely so real, feeling it hitting like a hammer. And it was deep. That's all. It was like, I just had the sense of it was so deep that this is not good. It's the end. And there was no pain, just this energy that you hear. Some might call it tinnitus, maybe, I don't know. But I've sat in very quiet places where you can hear this high-pitched noise. And so I got hit, everything went numb, and I can hear this high-pitched noise winding down, like. And I knew in that moment I was dying in a dream, so realistic. And there was just a few seconds of fear, like, this is it. Wow, here it is. And then after that, like a millisecond later, it was like, oh, this is it? And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't what I feared, what we all seem to fear all our lives. It was just, okay. And it actually felt very, very, very familiar, extremely familiar, like I'd done it multiple times. And then after that, and things are starting to go black, I felt this enthusiasm, this love, this tremendous amount of love. It's something we, I think, have tried to find our entire lives. It was here in this moment of dying in this dream, a dream. It was so real. It's unbelievable. And all the fear was gone. It was actually exciting. I felt this just tremendous love, and I remember saying to myself, like, why was I afraid to really live? Why this fear of this moment? Now that I'm experiencing it, I could never imagine, because I've seen people die, and as a living person watching somebody die, it's not a beautiful sight. It just is designed that way. And I felt such a home, like there's no words for it, none. It's like baked bread, fall, fire in the fireplace, some kind of nice music, perfect temperature, wrapped up in a blanket, not a care in the world type of picture I can draw for this. It was so familiar, home. There was no adrenaline, fear, a dopamine. There was no chemical in this state. It was like a whole different state of weightlessness, thoughtlessness, just no thinking, just really um, appreciating dying. You know, it was laughable, fun, funny. I was looking forward to what was coming. And it was just this tremendous amount of weightlessness of love. I mean, it was so, and I'll never forget it. That's why I can still talk about that. And then I woke up in bed and kind of sat there. I was like, what the heck just happened? And it freaked me out. Now it freaked me out. It didn't while I was transitioning into this state. And it scared me. It's like, is that a prediction of the future? You know, what all these thoughts. And so I called a friend of mine that lives in Wasilla, Alaska, a very spiritual person. He's always had this magic about him. When I talk, it's funny, I've talked to him since 2006 and I've never met him, John. And he's just always been a voice of God to me. And what he's been through in life is amazing. This guy's been struck by lightning 3 times, and and I've still talked to him once in a while. And I've witnessed his life since I've known him, with his wife dying and the kids he takes care of that live in Africa that are all grown up now, and their stories. And I've talked to one of them, Fred, who was forced to kill his parents. And they damaged his arm or something, and John's taking care of these children, from Africa, and everything he's done is very God, spiritual, love, and he hasn't lived an easy life. And I felt comforted in talking to him about this, and he knew more about dreams than me at that time and what they mean and stuff like that. I just didn't care at that time. And we talked for half hour, 45 minutes, and it's answering questions. It could mean this, it could mean that, defining dreams and what the psychology behind it is, what the message is, the spiritual message is. And then now I'm wide awake, back to this dimension, realizing I just had a bad dream. It's just a bad dream. Now I'm in that state, like, hey, John, thanks, I'm awake now. Just had a bad dream, no big deal. And it's so funny how quick you forget, at that time. Now I remember the experience more now than pushing it away like I was doing. And so we hung up at the phone, and 5-10 minutes later, he calls me back. And I'm like, hey, what's up, John? And he's like, Rob, it's really important you tell me how you felt when you knew you were going to die. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, just, if you could, please tell me the experience. And so I told him everything I just said. There was just a few seconds of fear, and then it was just this acceptance, like a relief. It was like a relief. Like, I'm relieved from this ultimate fear for once in my life, because it took going through it to not fear it. It's so true in life, in so many ways. And I told him all about it, and he said, okay, I needed to hear that because my brother just got shot and killed this morning. Shot 3 times in the chest. He was on a motorcycle with his girlfriend, and he got shot by the girlfriend's ex-boyfriend or husband, something like that, early that morning, about the time I had the dream. This is a true story. And that's what made me start studying dreams for 7 years, because I've had something like this happen before. In 1992, I was living downtown LA, Wilshire and Lafayette. And one night I just had these major feelings of, you need to get out of LA. And my girlfriend, I'm telling her about this, and she's like, you're going crazy. I said, I've never felt like, leave now, go, leave LA. And I was like, what the heck? I never paid attention to these things. So I call my mom, who's always just been this wisdom. My mom was a phenomenal human being, just amazing. Talked to her and told her about this feeling I'm having, and she goes, well, maybe I should listen to it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in LA. I'm working with this partnership in Beverly Hills. I've got my beautiful girlfriend, like this is exactly where I want to be. But this inner voice is telling me, get out of LA now. Leave now. And I said to Mom, all right, well, no, I'm not going to do that. Thanks. I have to figure this out. It's really weird, and it's freaking my girlfriend out. It's freaking me out. Like, what the heck is this? I wake up the next morning, and it was stronger. Get out of LA now. I didn't hesitate. I can't remember, it was my girlfriend or her dad take me to Amtrak, the fastest way to get out of town. And they were just like, okay, wow, this is what's going on. I couldn't explain it to them. I just told them I got to leave. And I got an Amtrak heading back for Bend, Oregon, where my parents live, where family is. And, I took my mom's advice, and she said, okay, we'll pick you up. And I got on the train early in that morning, and we're riding through California. And I'm in the upper cart, with the observatory that's up there. And on TV, I see that the LA riots, the Rodney King riots, are happening. And it's completely chaos. And I was renting a car at that time, a brand new Cadillac. That was the top of the line car back then. And I would have left that morning for work into Beverly Hills. I would have drove right through it wearing my suit. And it was just unbelievable. And then the story continues. I ended up in Bend, and for the last year and a half, 2 years, I worked in the seminar business. It was my dream job, with the big seminar people. Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, oh my God, Peter Lowe, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, and I was in that industry as a field rep. I was only like 26 years old, something like that. And, my job is to go to all these companies, like 3 different companies in one day, big companies, small companies, and do a 1-hour seminar based on who I was representing, Tom Hopkins primarily. And then get them to come to the big seminar that's coming to town in 4 to 6 weeks. And it paid very well, and had all the benefits and luxuries, and paid extremely well, and plenty of job opportunities from companies that, were offering me jobs because I, represented their teachers, like Tom Hopkins, How to Master the Art of Sales, was truly the best teacher of sales. It wasn't just motivation, it was all psychology and understanding what's going on. So I get to Bend, Oregon, and then, before that, I wake up something like 4 a.m, and you can look this up. It's all on Google. And I wake up because I notice the train's been stopped for a really long time. I just sensed I can hear the idle of the train, and we've been sitting for a while. So I wake up, and this guy's sitting on the other side of me, and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, we had an earthquake right on the border of California and Oregon, and the tracks are bent ahead." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what am I getting out of hell? What the heck is going on?" So I ended up back in Bend, Oregon. I've got very little money at this point because everything I was making was going back into this seminar business. Actually, we were starting in Beverly Hills with a gentleman named Jet Mora. He was big money in LA, owned motels all over Dana Point, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, stuff like that. He was an investor for movies like Driving Miss Daisy. This big guy from the Philippines. Politically involved, and we were putting a new company together for him to do seminars called Dreams to Reality. Our office is right on Cannon and Wilshire, right down the road, not too far. and I'm meeting celebrities and having meetings with the investors from Japan. Like I'm 26 years old, and I'm part of this circuit now. I'm doing our first seminar in Bel Air, California, representing the company I was forming with the investors. Very, very successful right off the bat. And now, a month later, I don't know, 2 months later, I'm back at my parents' house in Bend, Oregon, without a car. My girlfriend's like disowning me, because I've lost my mind. And now I'm trying to look for jobs in Bend, Oregon. And back then it was a small town. At this time it was probably population 25,000. And I can't find jobs because I'm now overqualified, believe it or not. And I buy this Datsun 510. Is that the one? A four-door, not the hatchback, not the wagon. Buy this old, I don't know what it was, 70s orange Datsun B510, maybe B210. No, it wasn't a B210. Those were cool. And it was just paint faded and stuff. And I cleaned that thing out. I ripped the carpet out, vacuumed it. I just cleaned that thing so nice that by the time I was done cleaning it, people complimented me on it. They thought it was a collector's. And I had my first anxiety attack there. And I've never experienced that before. I was like falling asleep and falling and stop breathing and wake up, and I didn't know what this was. I thought there was something medically wrong with me, and I went to a doctor, and she did her checkup and says, you're having anxiety attacks. And now, coming from the seminar business, self-improvement, all that stuff, I'm like, me? No way I'm having anxiety attacks. She goes, no, I'm telling you, that's what it is. And I was like, no way. How could I? I've got all this positive input. But look what just happened. And I can't find jobs, and I'm driving this old piece of crap now. And they look good. And so I packed up a backpack, my parents' house, and I said, hey, I'm going up into the mountains, the Cascades, up Century Drive, Bend, Oregon, and I'm going to go up in the mountains until I reconnect with happiness, because I'm having anxiety attacks, and it's freaking freaky. And so I packed up food and this backpack, and told them I'm not coming back until I just feel that happiness and peace. And I drove up, not even all the way up to Mount Bachelor, if you know Century Drive. It was like probably 10 miles from the seventh mountain. I'm just saying this for people that know the area. There's a little turnoff area and east or south of the road, and it's a lookout. You can actually see over the lava flows. There's thousands and thousands of acres of lava flows in Central Oregon. They go all the way to Lava Butte, and I'm looking there, and the sun's hitting everything just right to where there's like shiny glass all over this view. And it was obsidian, black obsidian. And that kind of took my breath away. But I still wasn't there. I haven't been back home in years. I've been working in Phoenix and then a seminar business in San Francisco, LA, all the movers and shaker places. And now I'm slung back into nature where none of this stuff matters. And I can feel I'm not connecting with it. I'm looking at it, it's beautiful, but it's not. My thoughts are just going crazy. This wheel, girlfriend I really love. She was beautiful. The career I was building, the connections, and now I'm here broke in an old car. This shit mattered to me back then. I come from the 80s where we were raised by, the movies like Family, or television shows like Family Tied with Oxy P. Keaton, movies like Wall Street. It was all about Mercedes, golf course, golf clubs, resorts, and money. Everything was about money in the 80s. That's what we were programmed with. And I'm realizing I'm seeing this amazing view. It's just really beautiful, but it's not strong enough. And so I walk back to the car, and there's these beautiful, what do they call them? It's a pine tree with a red bark. Ponderosa, thank you. These ponderosa pines, they have like an orange bark, and they're just really manicured, beautiful, big trees. And I walk up to a tree, and I touch it. And I'm looking up at it, looking and see if anybody's looking at me, because it mattered at that age. And I'm not connecting. I'm just not connecting to this, like I know how to in nature. And so I'm hugging the tree, like tree hugger, and like, come on, Rob, come back to earth. You got to get over this anxiety and thoughts just just thoughts, thinking, where I came from, what I've been through, and now I'm here, back at mom and dad's house, and no job, and no money. It's just this crazy, weird, irrelevant in the bigger picture stuff. And it was warm. It was very, not hot, but warm enough that there was a clump of sap on the tree I was hugging, and it's warm enough that it was mushy. You could push it, and it was mushy, it wasn't hard. And so I took a chunk of that sap out, and sticky, and I took a smell of it. And it's like somebody turned the lights up, just like it woke me up. For years we called it Zap Sap in some videos I made back a long time ago. I did a video about this. And the smell was so intoxicating, and brought me and helped bring me back here. And I felt this weight just go. And I started laughing inside, like, oh my God, don't you understand? It was just a game that you're playing to see how much of a winner you could be. It's really not important. You just wanted to see where you can go, And I heard this voice, and this one wasn't the God person voice. This was inner wisdom, maybe, I don't know, because what it said is take everything like a grain of salt. And I was there, up in that area for about an hour, and it made all the sense in the world, like throwing salt over your shoulder, like take life like a grain of salt. It's not that important. It never is. And I was cured. Threw stuff back in the car, came back home, and mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am actually." And from there, the next chapters came, and how and why I got into direct sales, which was below me, was beneath me. But I did it because my mission in life was to become a seminar speaker and master the hardest form of sales possible, which is door-to-door sales, which is just humiliating. And after being in the seminar business, wearing my suits and rubbing elbows with the big shots, but it turned out to be one of the best decisions I could make, because I ended up making millions in it, and was in a position to do seminars. But after years of training salespeople in my own company in the seminar business, I also realized the tremendous amount of responsibility you have when you're up speaking to people that want to hear what you have to say about success and attitude and all these things. I took it very seriously. What you say can really injure somebody if they're looking up to you, So that's a whole nother thing. That's all I want to say about it. 24 minutes. It's just amazing. I'm thinking it's 12 minutes. All right, I'm going to stop there. That's it.